So today we're going to review the Raging Heroes miniature, Mahleezariah. Anyway, I ordered that in. I'm very pleased with it, but it's definitely not what I expected it to be. I'd ordered it in for a Daemon Prince. On the website, it had suggested that it was considerably larger than the other models, and it looks pretty impressive on the box. So the images on the box are very detailed, but most of them are computer rendered. The model itself is very impressive. I just kind of wanted to give you a 5-minute review of what I thought of it. First of all, it's made of resin, which means it's a little tricky to put together. You can't put it together with plastic glue, so you've got to put it together with a super glue. In my case, I had use this LePage glue. It's a gel. I've used it in the other videos before, and with the gel it helps me control exactly where it lands. Now the model itself, when completed, looks like this. It's all painted up. It came in several parts, but I had a few issues with it with construction. So first of all, it came with a base smaller than this, but I wanted to use it as a Daemon Prince, so I needed a base this size. Now I had lots of them kicking around, so that wasn't an issue. It had a little spigot at the bottom of one of the shoes, so I just drilled with a handheld drill bit. I just put a hole in the bottom and that mounted it quite nicely. So the model itself is pretty nice. It's quite nice. Constructing it was pretty straightforward. It came in a couple of different pieces. I ran into trouble when it came to putting the blade skin as a cape. There was no actual place to put it, so I ended up having to glue them directly to her back end here. So it would have been nice if there was another spot to put it, and maybe there had been, but what I ended up doing was I glued the first strand to this belt buckle here, and then the other strand ended right by the head, and there was no way to reach the belt buckle and still have it connect here. So what I ended up doing is just gluing the flayed skins directly to the cape, so this band doesn't actually connect, but nobody really notices, which is not so bad. Then it has these 4 prongs that come off the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're quite nice. The only problem is they're very, very delicate. They're very, very easily bendable. They are resin, and they're held on. Originally, they were held on independently. I glued them each in, but after some trouble I had with a game we played, and I broke 2 of them, I actually ended up gluing them together, and that made them a little bit more stable when I connected them to the underarm. There's a spot right here that had a space to connect them, so I actually glued both together and then glued them in there, and that seemed to be an easier way to hold the model together. So it's really, really nice. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the way it looks. Getting to paint it was a little tricky. I would probably, if I had to do it over again, paint the inside of the cape and legs before I mounted it. In my case, I glued it to the stand before priming it. The only other thing to keep in mind is the size. So this is my ad hoc Daemon Prince, which is the Lust Elves. This is your typical Daemon Prince. They aren't the traditional wings that go on them, but you can see with the size of how big he is. He's about the right size, although he's definitely more bulkier than she is. The other Daemon Prince you can purchase is the Daemon Prince of Nurgle, which is right here. And as you can see, both Daemon Princes are decidedly larger than she is. She's definitely more dainty and more delicate. That said, with the same size base, nobody I've played with seemed to have cared. So I'm good swapping them both in, but I do have this guy in case people do have a problem with it. And I've magnetized his arms so I can put different weapons on him. So anyway, that's sort of our 3 Daemon Princes options that we have at the moment. I do have another Daemon Prince that I'm sort of thinking about building, but it's going to be a kit bash set. And I'll probably put it up here one night. But in sense, in case anyone's wondering, that's sort of the tricky parts to building this. That's the size of it compared to, say, a regular Space Marine. There's a regular Space Marine just for context. But theoretically, if you had a normal Daemon Prince, you would definitely be able to see that she sits pretty much as high as the spikes on the top of his head. The horns, and her horns and his horns pretty much match. So as far as line of sight goes in a game, you might be at a slight disadvantage because she does stand a little higher. Although at this point in time in 8th edition, the Demon Princes have less than 10 wounds, and they are characters. You can't target them regardless. So in an actual play game, what you're going to find is either or will work. So that's about our review of this model. I think it's really, really, really nice looking model. It's very sharp. I've gotten plenty of compliments on it at the local gaming store. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. And that's pretty much it for that. I'm not unhappy with this purchase whatsoever.